Welcome, everyone, to today's conversation. I am live with one of our speakers, keynote speakers, I should say, for Top 50 Voices of Influence. So let us know if you are catching us live or tuning into the replay. But as I mentioned, if anyone caught our live from yesterday, I am going to take the next few weeks to really come and introduce to you the different speakers that are on this incredible event. And these women are women who are living in alignment in the areas of health, wealth, love, and personal power. And I really want to highlight our event, the Top 50 Voices of Influence, because this is more than just a speaking opportunity. This is really a space where you are going to be able to expand your voice. And this is where visibility meets alignment, and more than anything, where your message turns into legacy. And I am so passionate about sharing this stage with so many other women, but more than anything right now, really just highlighting the incredible speakers that are already on this platform and on this event and have already said yes. So I want to just take a moment and really introduce to you Anita. Like I said, she is one of our keynote speakers for Top 50 Voices of Influence Women in Alignment. And Anita is someone that I recently also had the pleasure of sharing a stage with. But today we're going to be talking all about top 50 voices of influence and have this opportunity for you to get to meet Anita and really the caliber of women that are stepping onto this stage. So, Anita, welcome. I would love for you to just take a moment and introduce yourself to our audience and really tell us who you are and the work that you do.
Well, firstly, I'm so excited to be here. I love that this is an event that's centering around women, helping women get their voices out there, mostly because we are at such a pivotal time, I feel like, where more women are stepping into their power. They're starting to own who they are, and part of that is owning their voice. And that could be the trickiest aspect for us, especially if you grow up learning the people pleasing and the just expectations of others. So to see women highlight their gifts in such a massive way is so exciting for me. And that's actually what drew me here is to be able to highlight my voice and use my voice to inspire women, but also to actually activate that use of voice because I feel like it's so easy to suppress it that it's like any chance you get to put it out there, it's just becomes an art form in itself.
Yes, it really does.
And a little bit about me, I'm a somatic mindset coach. I basically help women get back into their bodies so they can expand their nervous system capacities to attain their dream lives. And the way we do that is just really helping you get centered and reconnected because so many women are so disconnected from their bodies and they don't even realize it, especially if you're high performing. You have this innate ability to keep going and going, not realizing you're actually playing in a game of a little bit of that fight loop or you're operating out of your masculine. So I help women just center and come back to their body, come back to their breath, and take a pause to find that realignment space.
Yeah, and that's so beautiful because so many women are still, not just women, right? But we're speaking about women today, but are really disconnected. And I know for myself, I've had to just really center and remind myself, even after doing the work and periodically, to just take a moment and just breathe because we've become so disconnected with our own feelings, it seems like.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, I was the prime example of living a life in disconnection and like my innate ability was always I went into freeze mode. Anything happened, I went into freeze mode. I did not know how to process it. I would be basically kind of my joke used to be like I was a certified mute at times, which is why voice activation is so important to me.
Mhm.
And it's because I didn't have the words to express, or I didn't know how to express what I was feeling. And when you're in that free state, a lot of times you don't even know what you're feeling. And so just having that ability to reconnect to your body and bring it back to the breath and just get present is an art in itself. And I find that the word that I keep reaching for right now is presence and awareness. Because
Mhm.
when you combine those, you're able to get to a new conscious state of alignment and of flow.
Yes, so important, so important. Now, Anita, share a little bit about what was happening in your life or business when you saw top 50 voices of influence and what made you say yes.
Honestly, so I had made a goal this year that I was going to be impacting at least 200 women, at least. And I have a coach who was like, 200, don't you think you could do more than 200? And I was like, it's the starting goal, man. Like, we're just starting there. It doesn't mean that's where we're ending. But it was so key for me to start getting in front of women and putting myself out there. And when we talk about identity shifts, I used to be the person who would not want to be on a stage because I was so shy of like, wow, what if I mess this up? And what will they think? And whatever the stories were. And in my business, I had this realization that being in front of more women, being in front of the right women who are hungry is how I'm going to take this work out and really push it out. And that's how you create the impact. And rather than being able to do it one at a time, what if we create groups of women who are empowering women?
Yes,
And that's been the focus for this year is just creating these communities and cohorts of women who are embodied, living in their fullest potential, going after their dreams, and even doing the things that challenge them or scare them a little bit, because that's how you get to your next level is that comfort, getting out of that comfort zone. So for me, having known that one way to get in front of more eyes is to speak, that was my kind of intention is the way I'll put it. I put it into the universe that starting this year I was going to start speaking, and then slowly opportunities kept coming up. And when I saw the top 50 women of alignment, I was like, "Oh, absolutely. Why not be someone who puts myself out there in that capacity because it's another way of showing women what's possible." And that was just the biggest shift is just when you take yourself out of the equation and think of the outcome of what you can do for the others, that is such a gift in itself.
it is. And for me, I'll just share as well that, visibility is the focus for this year, but not just visibility for me. It was one of those things where it's like, I'm going to bring as many women as possible into this space, onto this platform, onto this stage. And so by me putting this event out there, not only is it amplifying, my voice, it's also amplifying, the voices of all the other women that are going to come in because we have, women that are stepping onto the stage and then women who are also stepping into a collaboration book that goes hand in hand with it, because some people maybe a little bit shy about stepping onto a stage, but they know they have that message. So it's like some are just like, I think I'm going to go first for the book, but we've got some women that are doing both, right? Like I'm going to share my story and my message on the stage, and I'm also going to anchor it even further because it's that opportunity for your words and your work to just really outlive you through a book.
Absolutely.
Now, you decided to take it even a step further, and you are one of our keynote speakers. And I find our keynote speakers opportunity to be so excited. That one just lights me up because not only are you going to be sharing your signature talk and your message live, you know, during the week of the event, your portion is going to simultaneously be streaming live on the Million Dollar Network, streaming on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. Then we're going to take your talk and it's going to be a part of the Voices of Influence TV show. Also, will be distributed on those platforms. So tell me, what was it about that made you just be like, yes, I'm doing it?
Honestly, when I saw the opportunity, I literally remember looking at the page and it was just like, well, visibility is huge for you this year. And what is a way to really step out of your comfort zone? And a 15-20 minute talk, you can do that in your sleep, no problem. 45 minutes, especially when you realize the extent of it and the impact that it can make, that takes it to the next level. So for me, it really came down to the idea of who do I want to reach this year?
Mm-hmm.
And how do I make sure that my voice it touches the right women? The words I articulate, the message I have of somatic healing, and really coming back home to your body and nervous system expansion. Because I really do believe that our most empowered leaders are those who are going to work on their nervous system. And that would create such an amazing ripple effect if we had just more embodied, empowered leaders, regardless of gender. But when I thought about the opportunity, it was just really how do I put myself out there more to make this impact? And also, how can I just be of service? If I get myself out of the way, instead of doing what would be easy,
Mm-hmm.
do something that challenges me a little bit, but also gives an opportunity to have women find this work because a lot of them don't even know it exists. And
You're
so
absolutely right.
So it was just a no-brainer at that point. It was like this just gives me the opportunity to actually have that visibility. It gives me the opportunity to make the impact and the legacy that I'm looking to make long term with what I'm building out.
Yeah, and it's saying yes to yourself and to that powerful message that you have, right?
Absolutely. I mean, when we think about it, it can be so easy to like sway yourself from a decision. But what really anchored my belief in why this was a good opportunity was impact. Impact above everything else. And if we just focus on what the ripple can be of how do I connect, how do I serve, that is the core message that I have. It is just
Mm-hmm.
my heart is in service of making women feel rejuvenated, helping them get back to their selves, feeling excited about life again. And it's just when you've been so disconnected for so long, you recognize what it's like when you start feeling the wires come back and it's like
Mm-hmm.
you're excited about life, you're passionate again. And that's all I want to see women be is just the highest versions of themselves. So that's long-winded way of saying it was just the impact that I really could see myself making with the women.
Yeah. I was actually talking to one of the speakers yesterday, and she says, okay, tell me about the keynote. And so we talked about it, and she's like, oh my gosh, it makes me nervous. But similar to what you shared, she's like, if the opportunity is there, why wouldn't I take it? If I have the opportunity for my message to then have that ripple and amplify and be available in a platform that could reach millions, why wouldn't I do it? I said, you're right. It's time. And there's limited spots to the keynote speakers because of the space that we're creating for them. And we're being very intentional about being limited, and I know it's for the right people. The people that say yes, like you did, Anita, you were just like, I'm in because I know this is my desire and my goals for this year. And when you go in like full heartedly, the message is going to reach the people that you intend to. I have No doubt about that. Because you've already decided that your message belongs on this stage, on this TV show. And now it's just a matter of you showing up, delivering like your medicine, if you will, and then the right people are just going to find it. That's my belief with anyone who steps on the stage or in any part of this event.
Absolutely. And it's beautiful that you brought us to that because I really believe that the conversations we're meant to hear, whether that's on a podcast, keynote, whatever it might be, you will find it. And that's when you will find the impact. That's where you will find that little nugget that's going to shift your life. And so I'm all about putting myself in environments that help me amplify my message, but also help me amplify my essence and help me reach that next level within me. So if you're just listening to this and you're like, well, maybe not this year, I would challenge that to say, is it coming from a place of I don't genuinely feel ready yet? And at that point, I'm going to challenge the belief of not being ready because when it comes to not being ready, we can delay our own progress. Sometimes, if you know there's a call in your heart, you have to follow it, even if it feels scary, because the growth is on the other side.
Yes. And you pretty much answered this in the question that I had for you. And it was about, what would you tell women who are feeling the call but haven't said yes? And I love what you just said. We're never going to feel ready. I mean, I'll just say that. You'll feel ready if it's within your comfort zone. If it's something that is going to grow you or stretch you, we're never going to feel ready, but we have to make the decision that we belong, right?
Absolutely. And it just comes back to knowing that you're whole in this moment and that you're actually able to serve. If you come from a consciousness of, I'm just going to serve and I'm going to give my heart and I'm going to pour to people, there's an impact that goes far beyond what you can imagine. But if you're feeling like, oh, I don't know, it's that shakiness. If you're allowing yourself to enter through the doubt mindset and that doubt consciousness, you're going to hold yourself back. So I would just challenge where in my life right now am I maybe more ready than I think. And usually for me, when I work with women, I would even go in as far as like, okay, what does this keynote bring up for me?
Hmm.
And where is that coming through in my body? So for me, it was like there was a little bit of like anxiety, but I realized that anxiety was actually nervousness that just knows what impact I can make. And so when you recognize that, then the decision becomes, am I going to follow my fears or am I going to follow my next level?
I just have to share something as you were speaking because and it has to do with us kind of tuning into our bodies. When I was in the process of deciding if I was going to create the top 50 voices of influence stage, it was a couple days for me to make that decision. Now, in that process, I completely lost my voice. I was not sick. There was nothing, no symptoms, nothing. I just lost my voice. I couldn't speak. Finally, like 5 days in, I told my husband, "Well, it's 5 days. All I'm feeling is a little fatigue, but I'm gonna go to the doctor now." And I said, two things are gonna happen. Either they're gonna tell me I have like strep throat or something. I said, or it's gonna be nothing, and I know what my next step is. So I go to the doctors. Of course, they're like, "No, everything, you're perfectly fine." So I walked out and I told my husband, "I'm fine. I know what I need to do next." And to me, I had to say yes to this event. The moment I said yes, things started to just clear up on their own. And to me, it was that very decision of, am I going to be the one to bring this stage to life? The one that is going to amplify all our voices? Am I going to do that? And that's the very thing. It was almost like a block in my throat that I
Mm.
couldn't speak. And the moment I made that decision, everything disappeared. And this is when I say, we got to tune into our bodies and what our body's telling us. And so to me, it was like, yes, this is a solid yes. And once I felt that, everything started to move through.
Beautiful. And I love that share because it's like, how often do we misread the signals of our body? So you could have easily tucked in that situation and been like, oh, my voice is going away. So perhaps this event isn't for me. But you realize, no, hold on. I have a right, I have a responsibility to amplify. I have to bring out this event and amplify the women and make an impact. And so, again, that could have been a crossroads moment for you that you still went with your alignment. And I just wanted to acknowledge that. And also, I had seen a post about your daughter having told you, like, oh, I'm going to be a speaker one day. And I love that. I love that you're already having her look at you and be like, I'm going to amplify my own voice. And you know what? This is what women do because you're raising women, or well, I know she's young, but you're raising a woman who is going to be very confident and comfortable using her voice because she already sees it being executed. I often say that a lot, well, I'm not a parent yet. A lot of parents don't recognize that what they tell their kids only makes so little of a difference. What it really comes down to is patterns are caught, not taught. So
Mhm.
you're actually telling her, use your voice, but then you're on the side not using yours or not amplifying it or whatever the case might be, then she's still going to learn.
Mhm.
I'm not actually supposed to use my voice.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that. I appreciate it. I've got twin daughters, and so they hear me talk. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go do a live. It's like we're gonna be talking. We're gonna be, and so I love that. Thank you for sharing your perspective on that with me. But to everyone that has been tuning in and or is catching this on the replay, please, if it's something that is resonating with you, if what Anita shared is something that really kind of got you thinking, reach out. If you have any questions, I'm happy to connect with you. But this is exactly why I created the Top 50 Voices of Influence event. It's because so many women are actually ready and they just need a space to step into. Or they think they're not ready and they just need to hear from other women who are doing it anyways, even though there could have been that bit of a doubt at any moment. So if you've been watching, if you've been listening and feeling something inside of you, this is your invitation. The spots are open, and we would love for you to just step into this experience and actually see the impact that it's going to have in your life. Because once you do it, you're going to, it's just an experience that once you experience it, then you're going to see how you're going to elevate from that. You'll begin to elevate the moment you say yes to yourself. So, I just want to leave you with this. I mean, your voice is meant to be heard, but more importantly, it is meant to be remembered. Thank you, Anita, so much for sharing with us about you, about your work, and really, your decision to step onto the stage because it's really in alignment with your mission this year. I appreciate you. And if anyone wants to connect with Anita or myself, if you are someone in Anita's network and curious, you can connect with her. She will connect you to me. But this is your stage, and you're welcome to step into it once you make that decision.
Thank you again for having me.
Yes, of course. I love this. Thank you again.